Hi, everybody. This is Hope
Hello.
Girl, and this is Tavon.
Hi, guys.
And we are coming to you from Fix the World, Morocco.
Yes.
And we're coming to you live today because we're going to be going through a whole discussion
Yep.
about orgone energy. We're going to tell you all about what we've been doing here with our orgonite, how to use it, and all that other great stuff. So we're recording this live, but if you're watching it live right now, we want you to know that we are in the comment section. So if you have any questions or any comments, you can leave us a comment in the chat box or the comment section. And we're sitting there live right now so that we can respond and answer all your questions or anything along those lines. So this can be more interactive.
Easier,
Yeah.
Easier to manage.
So we're sitting here in our beautiful olive grove. We're right outside of Marrakesh, Morocco. We've been here for quite some time now, about 9 months.
9 months already.
Yeah.
Years gone by really fast.
So, and it's a beautiful day, and so we're just gonna get into it.
Yeah.
Right.
Start talking about what we've been working on.
So first, let's see. I have a little list here, so I'm going to be kind of cheating a bit, and I just want to make sure that I stay on point with our whole conversation because we do have a lot that we want to cover and help everybody understand the benefits of orgonite and the orgone technology that we've been coming out with. So first, let's just talk about the outline of this particular discussion that we're having right now. So first, we're going to tell you what orgone energy is. We're going to define that and tell you a little bit about the history. Then we're going to tell you how you can use it and give you some ideas as to how we use it. We'll also talk about our personal stories, like why did we get into this and how did this come about in our personal lives. And then we're going to go through how we actually make the orgonite. We'll show you how we make it and why our orgonite's a little bit different than other people's orgonite and how you can make it yourself, right? So that'll be helpful for lots of folks that want to get their hands into it and make it themselves.
Yes.
And also, we're going to talk a little bit about, just give you guys an update about how we started this business of orgonite in Morocco, because we've been doing it for like 9 months now as a business venture, and it's just been working out really great. So we want to tell you a little bit about the beginning of that whole venture and like what we've learned and just kind of bring you along the journey with us. And also we want to talk about some of our feedback that we've been getting from our customers, because people have just been really just excited about this product, and we've just gotten some great emails. So we want to share a couple of our feedback emails with you.
Absolutely.
And finally, towards the end, we just want to talk about our products. We'll show you our different orgonite products and tell you about them, tell you how you can use them, and tell you where to go if you're interested in purchasing any of them. And also, the big part of this is that we have special offers right now for our products at really good prices. So, and they only last for about 24 hours after this particular this live discussion that we're having. So we're running some specials. So now's the time if you want to. So we'll get to that towards the very end. And of course, there's a link right below this this discussion right now. If you want to just skip ahead and just go see what the offers are, you can go click that link right now and see what they are. But please stick around because we got lots to cover, and we think you're really going to love it.
Right.
So we're going to start off with letting Tavon speak now that I've done our intro. Tavon.
Yes.
What is orgone energy and orgone technology?
Okay. Well, orgone energy is that's the term that was discovered by the late Dr. Wilhelm Reich back in the 1930s, 1940s, and it is basically the energy that is in life in general, in all living things. Now, this has been a scientific discovery. When Reich came across this discovery, he had to create certain kinds of equipment in order to detect this energy. It's very similar and has a component to it that is considered bioelectric in nature. So there's an electrical component to it, but it's something more. It's like a complex field, and this field can be observed and it can be seen. Reich did a couple of tests early on, creating something called accumulators. Now, these were chambers or boxes, and these boxes were composed with layers of metal and non-metal. Now, the non-metal part had to have an organic or carbon component to it. So when you layer the walls of this box with these layers, he observed a change in temperature from the outside and what was inside the box. And he did more observations. And one of them was this, what he called orgone energy. And this is like a vital force. It's something that is in all life. And he did tests such as put samples of blood inside these chambers, compared to samples of blood outside the chamber.
And you could see it too,
You can
right?
see
If
it.
you put it under a microscope, you could see a blue, like it's almost like an aura, like it's a field, an energy field that's visible around a blood cell.
Yes, that's right.
It's a blue color. So we use blue to try to like represent that in a lot of our materials when we talk about this. But it's fascinating stuff.
It is. So it's like the vital force. It can be observed, and it's the thing that allows and invigorates, keeps things more invigorated and gives it energy, like more life energy. So the technology has moved on since Reich, and the orgone products that you see out there are kind of the offshoot from this research.
So basically, I just want to say that, so Wilhelm Reich started the whole thing.
Right.
Many people have developed it since then. And what we're talking about is the ability to observe the life force around everything in nature, around people, around plants and animals, and the life force in the air. So it's part of the world we live in creation, right?
That's right.
It's just observing it. And this is a science. And the technology is basically taking components that you put together that create an effect that you can measure.
Yes.
So there's like Tavon was saying, there's been tests that have been done with blood cells where they take blood cells and they can measure the effect that orgone energy has on blood cells. So in a lot of ways, it's like it keeps your youth, it keeps the life force around something. So it stops things from decaying.
Right.
So it stops the body from decaying and the blood from decaying, but it also preserves food and stops food from decaying.
That's right.
So these are the scientific elements that we're talking about here when it comes to orgone technology. Also, there's another presentation out there that has been done by Organize Africa, which is another group, and they show all different kinds of tests and studies that have been done as far as the environment, because you can take orgone energy and you can create weather effects with it.
Yes.
So you could use it to stop chemtrails or stop certain energy patterns in the air. Right. So basically, that is what we're talking about when we're talking about orgone energy and orgone technology. And the reason why we're bringing it up this way is because we really want to make sure that we separate separate the science from a belief system.
Right. Yeah. That's
and just as a bit of a disclaimer in the very beginning of our chat here is orgone this is a science that we're talking about. We're talking about the science that can be measured behind it. We're not talking about a belief system. So we've gotten a few comments like, orgone is like some magical thing, or this isn't something that you believe. Yes. Or can be debunked because it's a belief system. It's not really new agey, even though there's a lot of new agey stuff around it sometimes. This is just, we want to focus on the science that can be measured by observing an effect in nature.
Yes, that's
and
right.
How you take natural ingredients, different stones and rocks, put them in a powder, put them together in an epoxy, and it creates a scientific effect.
So the things that the true orgone-based products that are out there today are literally an improvement on what Reich was working on through the scientific method. Now, in this day, again, it was layers of metal and non-metal. And so when you make chambers of different shapes and different sizes, you got this effect. It doesn't matter what you believe in, doesn't all these other things. The fact is, when you created a chamber like this, you can leave and you can have instrumentation to measure the effects, whether you put plants in or blood in, whatever the variations in temperature of what's in the chamber and outside the chamber. This is independent. This is what true scientific method is tests that were done that could be replicated over and over and over again. So all the stuff that we're talking about today are things that you can make yourself, and you can observe these effects. So that's what the beauty is.
Yeah. Now, talking about science and technology, just if you don't know about Tavon and his background, I mean, you might know about me, and I've been kind of like the spokesperson for free energy and different things with stuff that our family's been doing. Tavon is an engineer, and he's scientifically and technically trained. So what's that mean? That's like you know how to put machines together, you know how electricity flows through different components. So that's right, that's the mind that has been behind creating these orgone pieces that we're going to show you in a little bit. And so that's what we're saying. That's where we're coming
Yeah, I
from
mean,
with
my
this, right?
background is I'm an electronics technician by training, and so yeah, I've had a career in the IT industry in electronics in the military as a technician, and for my own health for health reasons, I had to research all kinds of things to help attenuate EMF and all these kind of things because it was impacting me negatively health-wise. So I started doing research on this 3 years ago.
Well, before we go into the research and our own personal paths to this,
Hmm.
let's just give you guys a quick list of what can you use orgone energy for in your life. Right. So we got a few things here. You can use it to structure water.
Yeah.
And water is structured naturally, like if you take water and you run it through an entire mountain system. By the time it comes to the end, the structuring of running through all those rocks and those stones and everything else, that's why, like, fresh spring water is so much better for you than stagnant water because it's been structured. And by structuring it, you're actually creating a vortex energy inside of that water so that it changes the molecular structure of the water. It rearranges the way the molecules lay in the water, which kind of, like, to make it simple, what that means is that it turns the water into it electrifies it. It energizes the water and it electrifies it. And if your body is like one giant water battery, when you drink structured water, you're drinking energized water that refills your battery. So when you have your water and you structure it and you drink structured water, you just have more energy in your body. So that's one thing you can use orgone energy for.
Yes.
Another one is to preserve food, like fruits and vegetables. We use our orgone, we throw it in our fridge, and it turns the entire fridge into an orgone accumulator, which basically structures, I'm sorry, that's the water. It turns the whole fridge into an orgone accumulator, which preserves things. So
one of these charging plates here. Oops.
bananas work the best. Like bananas go bad really fast, right? But if you use bananas and you put them on top of these plates or you put them in the fridge with these plates, it preserves them. In some cases it was like 3 times longer.
Yeah.
So just generally, like, I would see I go shopping, I'd get a whole bunch of produce, fruits and vegetables, and I come home, put them in my fridge, and I was always like throwing stuff out like a week after or something because it would go bad really fast, especially in like really warm weather, like we get sometimes here in Morocco. And then when we did this and we threw all this orgonite into our fridge, I noticed everything was just staying fresher much, much longer.
Right.
And I wasn't throwing food away like I was before. I was able to, like a head of lettuce would last like 3 weeks in my fridge. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So that's something else. Let's see. EMF protection. This is a big one. Talk about EMF protection. What's EMF? Why do we need protection from it?
Okay, so there's more research and documentaries being done by people who are looking seriously into the health effects of stray electromagnetic fields coming from cell phone towers, your Wi-Fi router, your computer, your television screen, radio tower masts, all these things that haven't been around before in nature before in the past century or so has created an environment that is full of electropollution, or what people call EMFs for short. So there's a lot of research now out there from universities around the world on scientific documentation that is becoming more public knowledge, describing the health effects of electromagnetic fields in the environment. And it can lead to a lot of symptoms. It throws the body out of balance. It changes things like hormone production. Some studies link EMF pollution as a precursor to things like cancer and other illnesses. Okay, so that's pretty much what that is. So what's happening is that people are trying to come up with ways of trying to mitigate, attenuate, shield their bodies from these effects, so that they themselves aren't affected and they can strengthen their bodies.
Not to mention, I mean, yes, EMF causes illness, but it also just causes overall mood swings and
Yes.
irritation
Yeah.
in general. So
Yes.
if
Right.
like, if you just kind of feel like irritated or moody, or you can't sleep because you got like this like constantly stimulated brain, that's
Yes.
because of the EMFs that are flying through the air, and it's not really good for people. And this hasn't been like this forever. I mean, it's only been in the last couple of decades that we've really seen an increase
Mm-hmm.
in microwaves that just are coming at us from every single direction. So you can basically set up EMF protection using Orgone technology and different Orgone devices to shield yourself.
Yes.
And it really has made a huge difference.
Absolutely.
So along those lines, because of that, you can use Orgone to help you sleep because it blocks out all the EMF waves that are keeping you awake. There's lots of studies that are done behind that. I mean, yes, you can shut off your Wi-Fi in the house when you go to
We
sleep.
recommend that too.
And of course we do that. We
Yeah.
do that, right? But you just shutting off your Wi-Fi, can you shut off your neighbor's Wi-Fi? Can you stop the satellites that are beaming at you in the air? What if you live in a city and there's just stuff everywhere? So you can also put a shield of protection around yourself. So that helps with sleeping. You can use it when you're sleeping to get a better night's sleep. You can use it to grid your entire house. And that's the thing about Orgone technology, which is fascinating, is you like imagine like this giant shield, this energy shield around your home, so that everybody in your house, your family, and even it extends out actually. So
Yes.
even like everybody around you on the block that you live on, you can create this protective energy shield around your entire house to block out all these different bad rays.
Yeah.
And that's been incredible. And the most amazing part, if you're sensitive to chemtrails. Okay, lots of people looking around, they see chemtrails everywhere, and you're learning about all the different things that are inside of those chemtrails that are really bad for our health.
The geoengineering programs.
All the chemicals that they're using. So Orgone can actually create an energy shield around your house and your property that can go up into the sky, and it can dissipate and clear away the chemtrails.
It sounds amazing.
And protect you from it. And we do have a video clip that we're going to show you, because basically around our house right here, so this is our front yard, right? We live in an olive grove.
A working olive grove.
Hence
the mopeds.
Yeah, you hear mopeds. Actually, it's harvest season right now, so they're out there in the trees right now shaking the olives out, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But above our house, ever since we moved in, because we had neighbors that lived here for 3 years prior to us moving in, who said that there was clouds and chemtrails, but they noticed that since we moved in, there's always been this giant hole in the clouds above our house.
Right.
And it might be because we have a whole bunch of orgonite pyramids up there that are creating this giant field around the house. It's basically, I mean, they do still spray, and there's chemtrails.
That's right.
But it dissipates.
Yes.
The chemtrails, like they'll spray, and we'll stand up there and we'll watch them dissipate, and it'll keep this hole above our house.
Right.
Today we have a beautiful clear sky, so we're really lucky, but every now and then we do get the chemtrails, and we just don't feel the effects like we used to before we started gridding our property. And one more thing that you can use Orgone technology for, and that is for your garden, for your plants. When you put orgonite in your garden or in your pots, it helps the plants to grow stronger and faster. And there's been some incredible studies done where they would set up one garden grid on one side, and you'd see that that's the one that has all these orgonite planted in the garden, and then on the other side is another grid growing the same thing, same soil, but there's no orgonite. And you can see over time that the one with the orgonite in it just like it was huge, it was blooming like crazy, and the other one with no orgonite was sort of struggling. So you can really see how the Orgone energy is effective.
You could just Google search orgonite and garden plants, and you're going to get all kinds of
Yeah, and
work
we'll
done by
and we're
people.
gonna throw a few pictures in here as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So
so
because you really need to see these effects with your own eyes. It's incredible what happens
yes,
with gardening. So if you're a farmer or if you're just like a community gardener and you have a garden and you want to get a better yield,
yes,
Orgone can help you get a better yield.
absolutely.
Or if
Yeah,
you've got like an urban garden and you're trying to grow things out of pots on your back porch, Orgone can help you with that as well. And it's natural and it's safe and it's incredible. And the one other cool thing about Orgone that we've noticed is the way our animals act around it. Okay, so you might see behind us we have four cats now. One of them came with us from America, and we just adopted these three Olive Grove kittens. And we are just observing what happens with our animals and the organite. Like we will find our older cat sitting on top of the organite,
like an egg.
like it's an egg,
It's like it's nesting.
like she's like a chicken roosting on top of her eggs.
Yeah.
The animals migrate towards the organite and they walk up to it every time. If we have it on the table or we have it on the bed or some weird place, like we had a piece of organite in our sink at one time. We had like an organite puck and it ended up in our sink, and I was looking for the cat. I'm like, have you seen Titi? Where's the cat?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And all of a sudden I found her sleeping in the sink on top of the organite in the bathroom. So I took a picture, so I'll throw that picture
Yeah,
up
good,
here too
great.
because it
Yeah,
was incredible. The way the animals act around it really shows me that because animals they have different sensories.
mhm.
They have like better night vision and they have different senses than humans do. So they can pick up on energy much better than we can sometimes because we're distracted,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So if the animals are migrating towards something and they just always want to be around it, it's probably because it's giving off a positive energy that's good for life, and that's what we've learned about it. It's really really cool stuff. So let's talk about our personal
mm,
stories because we just want to let you guys know how we came about doing this. And Tavon is the one that really started this whole thing. So tell us your journey. What got you into Organite in the first place?
What got me interested in Orgonite was back in 2014. I was on the receiving end of what I can only describe as an electronic harassment campaign. So I became really intimate of understanding what directed energy was. I was suffering from pain, discomfort, things that would prevent me from falling asleep at night. During this time, I was also trying to stay healthy. I mean, I was running regularly. I was trying to eat healthy things. I was even taking a couple of dietary supplements. And then so when this attack was happening, it was just through process of elimination. I wasn't smoking. Don't do drugs or anything like that. That it had to be due to this sensitivity to electronic attacks.
And
So
electronic attacks, because they're getting out there in the news more these days. But
yes,
it's
it
like
is.
somebody actually is using an energy weapon, like a microwave is coming out of a microwave gun or a sound frequency weapon, and they're aiming it
Yeah,
at you.
yeah. These frequency weapons seem to be multi-platform, so there's various ways to come at you, right?
Yeah.
If you're on the receiving end of this thing.
And
So
you would say, well, why you? Why do you think you were targeted? Is another question a lot of people ask. Just want to like get people
well, yeah,
to.
I mean, there's a lot of people being targeted at this point. Who knows what the reasons are? But the point is, it's going on, it's growing, it's a problem, it's a concern. But because of that, for me, I want to stay healthy. I was feeling ill, I was feeling sick. I had to
Yeah.
leave, completely move from that place. And during my journey, fast forward, I'm here in Morocco, and started to research ways of protecting myself, both with real shielding against things like microwaves, but also what can I do for the body.
Hmm.
And a friend of mine, and the biggest problem I had was sleeping. I couldn't sleep. I mean, I had this problem with
Yeah.
insomnia ever since the attack started in 2014. So a friend of ours gave me a piece of Orgonite, and now I'm a technician, and so when someone gives this resin with aluminum filings in it, I looked at it and said, I'm not really sure what is this supposed to do, and
Right.
they told me, well, put it in your bed when you fall asleep, or when in your bed tonight. Let me know how you feel in the morning. I was skeptical. I put it in my bed, and I fell asleep within 20 minutes of laying down. I was out, and after several weeks of not sleeping, I mean, I used to go almost 2 weeks or so without getting a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Maybe an hour or two. I might approach REM sleep, but then wake up. And anyone who has this problem knows that if you don't get REM sleep, you feel like crap the next day. Your performance is terrible.
Yep.
And all of that. So when I woke up the next day and I felt refreshed, and I looked at this thing, and then I started putting on my technical hat, and I started to research. That's when my research started. And so, fast forward to today, after several years of research,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sold. It's amazing. This technology is simply amazing, and it's simple, and it can be replicated over and over again.
Now, watching him go through his research was it was inspiring to me as well, because I was there when he first tried it, and he was like, I slept better than I've slept in a long time. And then he was like researching this and trying that, and then he started going online and ordering all these different materials and supplies and having them shipped in. And then he would like make something, and he'd say, this is what this is. And I was looking at it like, well, okay. I mean, because I'm supportive, right? It's like, because this is what we do.
It's very important
We do
to have a supportive partner.
yeah, we do technology. That's what our family does. We work with all these different forms of technology, and we're experimenting and seeking things out, right? So then he says, I want you to try this. So he makes me our first pendant, which back then was like this. It was like this giant hockey puck, right? It was way too big, and it wasn't elegant or anything. And he says, try it. So I put it on, and my reaction was, immediately I felt this overwhelming sense of calm. It was just like, it's like the feeling when you have like warm water, like when you just have like warm water just like splashed all over you. It was like, whew. It was this amazing feeling, and that was my reaction to it. Now for me, I'm usually pretty wired. I'm always thinking, I'm always problem solving, I'm always multitasking. And there were times when I was going through a lot of stress, right? And because all these different things that were happening in my life. And now, if you've got stuff going on in your life and you're getting stressed out for all different reasons, add to that the electronic bombardment that we're going through. When you go through airports and you have to walk through those scanner things, and then you've got like cell phones. People when you put your cell phone up to you, that like beams stuff into your brain, and that like accumulates and that collects, and you've got the satellite dishes coming at you. And then on top of that, all the other toxins in the air. It's just like,
yes, yeah.
It's like your body becomes like super saturated with toxins and pollution. So you have the stress, and then you've got the electronic pollution, because that's what I look at it as, electronic pollution.
Yes.
That was like stimulating me and irritating me and adding to the stress. So I put this thing on, and it was like relief for the first time in years. And I was like, oh. Mm-hmm. Now, my story about this is that I had really a lot of trouble sleeping. For years, I was quite the insomniac, and I would end up staying up all night long. At first it was like, oh, this is kind of cool, I'm watching the sunrise. But after a while, it was just like, this is really tough, because I couldn't figure out how to get to sleep, and I was trying everything I could. And the Orgonite helped me to sleep, and it helped me to sleep very, very deeply. It kind of brings like this overwhelming sense of just everything's gonna be okay, like that kind of like nurturing feeling of energy when you're trying to go to sleep. And that's how I felt. And so I was like, after that, I was like, I'm sold on it too. It's like, this makes me feel good. So we worked on it. We perfected the pendant. It got a little bit nicer and sleeker looking, right? And so ever since then, we've been developing these things, and now we have Orgonite all around us all the time, and it's an incredible experience. I want to also bring up that some other people have had some other reactions as well, and they're interesting to us, because sometimes somebody will say, I put on a pendant and I felt a little weird. I felt a little like I was detoxing, is what we've heard,
detox,
right?
Yeah.
So if you've ever gone through any kind of a detox, like there's like a headache. Sometimes you get like a detox headache, or you feel just kind of like blah when you're going through a detox, but then you feel great afterwards because you're getting all the toxins out of your body. So some people have had some detoxy kind of effects, and they said, but it went away after a little while and it was fine. But for us, that shows that it's working.
Yes,
it's detoxing. somebody's body, and also the energy field that's naturally around your body. And the other thing that's interesting is there's been some emotional reactions as well.
Yeah.
One person said that they sat on one of our orgonite plates and they just started uncontrollably crying for like they had a good cry.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So now what would cause that? This is, we don't know. We don't really know. We're the crying, like, because if you're being bombarded with electronic stuff that's like stimulating you and creating frequencies in your body, that, the frequency of anger, the frequency of sadness, if you finally get relief from that, sometimes it's just like, oh, I got a good cry,
Yes,
and
yeah.
it's like it's a it's like an emotional detox.
Right. Yeah.
So these are some odd stories, but normally the reaction is just people feel relief. It's just relief. And it's like relief that they didn't even know that there was a problem until they got relief from it. And then they said, oh, I can't believe I've been living with these symptoms. I've been living this way without knowing that I could live without having to
Right.
deal with this.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how we make it. How do you make the orgonite?
Okay. Well, there's documentation, there's videos online on how you can make orgonite. Primarily, what orgonite is,
Mhm.
and I do want to try not to drop it this time.
We have a table set up here in front of us, where we're
Right.
going to hold up all these things so you guys can see. We have many different pieces.
Okay, so when I described earlier Orgone technology developed by Dr. Wilhelm Reich, it was layers of metal and non-metal. And since it's progressed, other researchers in this area have basically made it more efficient and say, well, if I'm going to have layers of metal and non-metal, I can shrink it down to the microscopic level and have the same effect with particulates or with metal shavings of, let's say, copper filings, aluminum filings, and epoxy resin. That's your non-metal. And when these things are stacked and mixed and jumbled around within a specific shape, it creates the same effect. You have this standing field that augments that space, and that standing field is what creates these effects. Okay.
Okay, so what you're saying, just to like repeat it, because I didn't get that the first time, so I just want to say it again. When you take all these ingredients, which is different metals like quartz, quartz isn't a metal, rocks and stones, quartz, shungite, iron oxide, brass, steel. When you take these metals and they're in a powder form, then you put them in this epoxy,
right,
which is plastic, really. It's like a plastic, right?
That's right.
So as soon as you've got that together, what happens with that epoxy is that it creates a pressure on all of those different materials.
Yes, yeah.
Which naturally creates a piezoelectric effect of the materials, which makes them emit ions, negative ions, which is what creates the effect that you could measure to help the life force energy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Having a crystal inside of this particular combination that we're talking about, that's what gets squeezed during this curing process of the resin.
Right.
The resin that we're talking about, when you make this stuff, the resin's in a liquid form. You have a catalyst, and when you mix this resin with the catalyst, you get this thermoplastic that hardens.
It's plastic.
It's plastic, basically.
It's hard plastic.
But what you need to do is you need to mix your metal shavings, which a lot of people are using, like brass and aluminum metal shavings that they can get from the machinist that throws it away. Well, you can take that, and if you jumble that in this epoxy resin, you can that mixture, that hardened plastic with those materials inside, creates this Orgone effect. And when people realize that that's what this does, that you can measure it and it has all these uses, now you see people making beautiful jewelry online based on this process. Now we use powders as opposed to metal shaving.
But just for now, we'll talk about the ingredients a little bit. So let's get some of these things.
Okay,
here.
So
this is a giant bag of quartz.
It's a bag of
quartz sand.
Quartz sand. There's your crystal right there.
Right. So that's the crystal, And quartz, like, quartz is used in computers. It has, technological properties, and that's why we use quartz.
That piezoelectric effect is what you described. Is when it cures, when the epoxy resin cures, it squeezes on the quartz, and that allows for electrical charges to be moved around. And
Yeah.
so that's what we use that for.
And now you're going to show us. Well, let's show the shungite
Okay, we showed the shungite first. We
now,
use
shungite. Tell us about shungite.
We use shungite powder. Shungite is a mineral that is found only in one place in the world, in this area of Russia called Karelia. There it goes. I mean, it's black powder.
It's a fine
so
black powder. So
yeah.
shungite is a stone.
The mineral itself is a stone.
Powder,
Yeah, it's
right?
now the thing about this stone, it's 98% carbon, and it's not just. It's a particular type of carbon. This mineral has the highest content of fullerenes. It's a type of carbon. It's structured in this kind of like this buckyball, soccer ball looking cage. And these cages have very special properties. Now,
antioxidant properties.
I mean, it's
really
broad,
high antioxidant properties.
Yeah,
so it's really good for human health.
It's good for human health. It's good for filtering contaminants. It's good for filtering things like radioactive waste. The Russians have been using that for a while.
Wow.
But now one of the important things also what it's good for when it comes to the field of microwaves is that microwaves, when they travel with a right-hand turn, a twist. And that is harmful for human life. These fullerenes I'm talking about in shungite, it takes those fields and turns it into a left-hand twist the other way. And that's compatible to life.
Now, doesn't it come from like a meteorite?
Yes, the actual minerals from a fallen
meteorite hits Russia, one place in the world.
Long time ago. Yeah.
And people have been discovering all these really incredible benefits that come from this particular stone. There's some fascinating stories out there about how,
yes.
the leaders of Russia at one point, like one guy was making shungite water, and he would only drink shungite water for health or something.
Yes.
So we're not telling you to drink the shungite water. We're just telling you that we use shungite in all of our Orgone products.
And there's a very good reason for that.
Because of the effects that it has for humans. And now what are you showing us? This is a blend. It looks a lot like the other
blend.
one.
It's like the other one. I mean, it's got some brass in it. You probably won't be able to see it from here. There's some brass.
We'll get some close-up pictures and put them on there so people can see.
But this is a combination of iron oxide, brass powder, some steel powder in there also. And so we have it at a specific mixture. And that's basically, these things are what makes up the
right. So you take all the powders, you blend them together into one powder, and then you put the epoxy in there, and you pour them into different molds. Let's show them the molds, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I take all this stuff, I mix it together in a measuring cup, and I pour them to molds. Now the molds
let's show them the.
Okay, first we'll show you.
So, and we make the molds too.
Well, I tried to show you earlier, like this charging plate here, this brass charging plate. We pour them into these molds that we make. The designs
it's made out of silicone, so it's a little rubbery, right?
All of these designs for all the products that we make are done on the computer, done in CAD. We have parts made in order to make these molds.
And that's important because you can make Orgonite, on yourself by yourself, however you want to do it. And what makes ours a little special is that Tavon will actually design something in a CAD program on the computer.
Yeah. And
then you have to bring it to some kind of a machinist that can somehow 3D print it, which doesn't always work out when it comes to certain detail. We learned that the hard way because we have 3D printed these things. Or you can use, what's the name of that other machine? CNC, where you had to like laser cut the top so that you can create your first item, which you then use as a master. And then you have to go get silicone, which comes in 2 different parts, and you pour the silicone together in order to create the silicone mold.
So we make all of these locally.
Yep. So we're doing everything. We're doing absolutely everything here. And then, so we got this mold. We have another mold here, which is it's really oily.
Yeah, that's silicone is
Right, so that's our pyramid for the pyramids.
Yeah.
And then we've got this one for the sleeping pods.
Yeah, that's our new special.
Right, and show them the sleeping pod. The sleeping pod's amazing. And we'll go through each of these in a little bit too, and show you like what we use these for, right? And then there's another mold as well. We don't have it here, but it's for the pendants.
Should I show them that?
Yeah. So we have these different pendants. with this one particular design right now. So different colors. We've got blue and purple and bronze and black. And the black one's the extra shungite pendant. And then also we just came out with garden pucks.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So these are really pretty designs. Garden pucks.
Yeah.
Let's see, there's a green color there. So we got some, so you can use these in your garden to help your plants grow. All right. So we want to share with you guys our business venture with this because
Right.
it's been incredible. Absolutely. The last, like, it's 9 months going now.
Yeah.
So we told you, like, we got into this for our own personal reasons. And Tavon was making it for us and our family and our home. But people started asking us, can I buy it from you? Will you make me one? I want some of your Orgonite. I really like your design, and I think it's nice. And so we started getting requests from friends and family and people that follow us online. And we had to really put our heads together to say, how can we bring this into, like, we needed to upscale it so that we could make a lot of Orgonite, because making 1 or 2 pieces is one thing, but making a lot is a different story altogether.
Absolutely.
So at the time that we're recording this now, we are really proud to announce that a couple months ago, actually, we hit our 1,000 order mark, which means we have made and shipped out 1,000 packages of Orgonite to people all over the world. So obviously, I think we figured it out. We got some, it took us a while.
Yeah.
First we started with okay, we have to make enough so that we can mass produce in our own little home workshop here. So we had to figure out how to make these molds.
This is not a big operation.
No, it's not big at all. This is really personalized, and we work really hard, and there's been so many nights where we're the ones that are making it. Like, he's making it and sanding it, and then I'm packaging it and wrapping all the boxes and everything else. So we created this online sales system so people can have access to it and try to get our prices the right way so we can afford to ship it out and pay for the shipping.
Yeah.
Then we had to figure out Moroccan logistics, which was like, wow, in the beginning, but we've got it completely figured out now. We've figured out the post office system, and we have shipped to many people all over the world, and it's been an incredible experience. And now, we're doing pretty good. We're able to send out lots of pendants, and envelopes, and people are really, really happy with their Orgonite. And I actually have a few emails here. I just want to read some of the feedback that we've had from some of our customers. So while I'm looking this up on my phone to read, why don't you talk a little bit more about what it was like to figure out the logistics in the beginning?
Okay, so when you start deciding to make your own Orgonite, because I encourage everyone who's listening to this to make your own first.
Yes.
Before you buy anyone else's Orgonite, make your own, understand the process, feel the difference, and observe some of the effects. There's some experiments you can try to do that. You're going to start looking for the raw materials. If you want to get something a bit more higher quality than the shavings from the local machinist, you probably have to order online, so you got that. You can order the epoxy resin online, so you'll be going online for that. The quartz powder, if you can get it, online for that.
Like eBay, you got a lot of stuff from eBay.
eBay and other places like that become your friend. Where you're going to get your shungite powder or shungite stones from. So when you do all that stuff and you start ordering these things to your place, you're going to see all the inherent costs, the shipping costs, and on all these other things. And you start to get a good appreciation of logistics quickly when you do this research. So
yeah, so I mean, you can make it on your own and go through all those steps that he just mentioned to try to make it yourself, or you can buy it from somebody else. But it is, it's been a really fun process. It's also really nice just making something with your hands, knowing that you're taking all these ingredients, putting them together to create a scientific effect that can help you and your family.
Yes, that's
Here's
right.
a couple of responses that we've got from some of our customers. This is a customer in Hong Kong who writes to us that I received the pendants and the charging plate yesterday, and they look fantastic. After the first sleep test, I felt less tired and lighter when I woke up in the morning. I will continue to monitor the result. And he said, by the way, I like the previous design on the charging plate more, and I'm not sure why you changed it. Don't worry, we're bringing it back, okay? Because the design we have now is our newer design, but we're trying to bring back the old design. And he says, thanks again, and please keep up the good work. Sending you and Hope Girl love and light. And that's from Hong Kong. Okay, I want you to read this.
Okay.
This is from Indiana
Right.
in the United States. This is a customer there.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Tavon. It may take me up to a month to buy, but I want them. In short, I have Lyme disease. I have some nerve pain in my hands, and I was able to keep the pendant in my hands yesterday, and it removed it on my first day of a job. I probably wouldn't be typing right now if I didn't keep it in my hands yesterday. I also bought the charge plate. I use that underneath my head at night. What I hope is that while I continue to treat my Lyme disease is that being in an Orgone field as much as possible, I will be able to heal faster and better.
Yep.
That's why I want those pyramids. Nerve pain feels like a shock through my hands. It removed the pain. And he's talking about the pendant he holds in his hand. It's still come back, but thrilled I don't need to do much but keep the pendant around. Yeah.
Excellent. We've got a couple more here. Oh, this one. all of these replies. And the thing I like about them.
Thank you.
Thank you so much when you write into us like
this makes us like want to keep making a lot of them. So.
And we're not even really asking people for testimonies. They're so excited about the effects that they're writing them to us. And so this made us just so happy. This one says, I just wanted you to know that I've been sleeping with the charging plate under my pillow, and I'm getting the best sleep in years. And one night, early on, I did wake in the middle of the night, but it was the night before a very stressful day. It's been about a month, though, and despite more impending stressful days, I have slept through the night well and soundly. I am periodically noticing that my name recall is gradually improving. That part of my brain suffered damage after a severe agricultural chemical that I was exposed to over 20 years ago. I live in a very rural area, so I have my 4 pyramids in my house, 2 in my bedroom and 1 each in my office and living room where the highest concentration of EMF energy originates. I'm loving the calmness and peacefulness I feel on a daily basis despite a very hectic and stressful schedule. The best $217 I've ever spent. And that's in Oregon in the United States. And let's see. Do we have one more?
I think that's it.
Oh, yeah. So we only pulled out 3, but we do. Yeah. We've been getting lots of these beautiful feedbacks from our customers. And I think that's one of my favorite parts of what we're doing because we're just, well, you said it earlier about how you feel. This is the best.
It's the best part. It's the best part to be working on something that improves other people's lives who are suffering from. Everyone is suffering from this. The heavy metal toxicity. I can't even say that word. But also just being hammered with all of this electro pollution that's everywhere.
Yeah.
So to get feedback really helps us out.
Well, it just makes us feel so good to know that we're helping other people.
I mean, I've had jobs in the past, but for me, this is the most rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So anyway, let's just give you a quick rundown because we're reaching the end of our little discussion here. Let's tell you about what our products are and what you can do with them, right, and tell you what kind of special offers that we have, right?
Okay.
So we'll start off with the pendants, right? So we've got, we have pendants in a certain design. It's kind of got this like flower of life kind of design on it. I'll just put a close-up of the pendant here.
The detail is very fine.
Very, very fine detail. We have them in bronze color, this really beautiful blue color.
It's like a metallic blue.
That Tavon is wearing. Right? And then we have the extra shungite black pendant as well. So these pendants, I think they retail for about $35 or something, but we do have, like, we want you to try the Orgonite. So what we're doing is we're giving away a couple of these pendants for free, but we're just asking that you pay shipping.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got, or it's really for shipping and materials. So we've got like the bronze pendant. We have a special offer for $9.99 just for shipping, and we ship everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And then there's also the other pendant that we have, which is the purple one, and it's purple for it's the color of our organization, Fix the World.
Yes.
So that's a special pendant that we have. $12.99 just
now.
for shipping, because it's
Yeah.
a little bit extra for the different materials that we have to use for the color.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, there is a link at the bottom of this video that says pendants, you know, and just if you want to see the different offers that we have on pendants, you can get the free pendant for just paying shipping, or we also sell them in sets. You can get a set of 2 pendants for an incredible price, or a set of 5 pendants for your whole family. And we've sold a bunch of those because people, they want to have a whole bunch of pendants that they can give away to their family members and their friends, because when you wear one of these, it helps to protect you from the EMF around you, and it just
Yes.
kind of, it's a pretty little thing, and it just makes you feel a lot better. And so we've gotten some great feedback from some of our friends who have actually worn these pendants to big conferences and events. And we get this feedback saying that everybody at the conference was asking about the pendant, and
Right.
they were really excited to tell them like what it is and what it does and where it comes from. Everything here, like we said, is handmade from our own little home workshop. Tavan makes them all with his own hands, and I pack them all. So there's our pendant offers. Then we talk about our charge plates. All right, so let you hold them up. We've got a couple different kinds of charge plates. So that one is the bronze charge plate. It has like a bronze finish to it, or the brass powders that we use in there. So that's the color of that one.
Yeah.
And then we've got this one as well, which is black. And that's just because it has extra shungite in it. All of our products have shungite, except the black one has a little extra shungite in it, so it has a nice black color. And these charge plates, they can be used to structure water. You can put a glass of water on top of it. You can put a water bottle on top of it. That will create this structured vortex effect energetically. If you were to do an ice test with one of these plates, you will take a plate and you'll put it in the freezer with a clear glass of water on top of it.
Like distilled preferably, but it doesn't.
Distilled is always better because it has less stuff in it, right?
That's it.
And then when you watch it freeze, it will freeze in a very definitive pattern that you can see this energy vortex frozen in the water in the ice. So that's the ice test, so you can actually visually see the energy pattern that is created from the energy coming out of these plates because of the ions.
Now I want to say something about that. That field that we're talking about, independent of what you hear, or I want to probe or what have you, the ice test shows you the actual standing field that all these products emit. It's that standing field that also has a negative charge with the negative electrons, is what clears the chemtrails. It's that field that augments the electropollution around you so that it's more compatible and it doesn't affect you as much. That field is where it's at. So if you have other products that you get online that's orgone-based, orgonite type stuff, do the ice test. Take a glass of distilled water, put it over it, and see the strength of that field, because it's that field that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you use these? There's so many ways you can use them. We like to put them in the fridge. We like to put them in the freezer. It will turn your entire refrigerator into an Orgone accumulator box, and it will help to preserve all of your fruits and vegetables so you're not throwing them out if they go rotten, because they last a lot longer. It keeps the life force in them longer. You can also use them, like I said, you can put your water bottles or pitchers of water or bottles of water on top of this just overnight or for a few hours to charge and structure your water. It helps to structure your water. You can use them under your pillow if you wanted to. A lot of people have been putting them under the pillow to help them sleep at night. You can put them up in front of your Wi-Fi router to help diffuse the energy that's coming out of your Wi-Fi router. And you know what? There's a lot of different uses. So just think in terms of where do you want to use the Orgone energy. And this is a really nice, convenient design. And the reason why we changed the design from what it was previously is because it's very, very flat. Which makes it easier to put things on and balance things on. Our older design had really deep grooves.
Deep grooves in the design.
And it was a little, it was pretty, but it was a little less functional. So, but we're bringing it back because we've improved on it to make the grooves a little bit better.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
pretty soon we'll have that available as well. But for now, we've got these, and they're really popular. So the deals that we have with them is you can buy one plate, you can buy a set of 2 plates,
Yeah.
or you can get the Orgone, the shungite plate for really pretty low prices. I mean, usually they sell for about $100
Yeah,
or
roughly.
$99
Yeah.
roughly. But you can get them for a really special low price that you can see at the link below. So just look for charging plates down there. And again, all these offers are only lasting for 24 hours. You'll see a clock timer once you click on the page. So you have 24 hours to take advantage of that special offer. And then after that, it's gone.
Yeah.
So this is really good because think about, holiday seasons, if you want to get gifts for your friends, things like that.
Yeah.
Then we also have our next most popular product is our pyramids.
Yeah.
We have to tell them about the pyramid and why we do a pyramid shape.
Along with this Orgone research, different shapes of accumulators were also being researched. In addition to Dr. Wilhelm Reich that was looking into this technology, the Russians have also in the past 2 decades. In fact, the Russians were making large, giant pyramids several stories high and see what the effects were. The reason why you have a pyramid shape is because what they observed is that when they took a observation balloon and had some helicopters fly around these large pyramids, they observed an ion column of negative electrons going right up into the atmosphere. And it had some benefits in the localized area also. These pyramids, they noticed there was plant life that was considered extinct coming back. So it was kind of like rejuvenating the area around the pyramids. The reason why we have pyramids here to help protect your home and to clear the chemtrails is for the same reason. The energy, that standing field that we've been discussing, that you see in your ice test, for pyramids comes out the tip. And it's simply because of the geometry. It also, with dealing with electricity, similar thing. Electrical energy is its strongest at the tip. And so the energy comes out from the tip, goes straight up into the air, and so it's very strong. And that's why you have the pyramid shape.
Okay. So another way of looking at it is like a shotgun, I think, in terms of you got all these particles inside the orgonite, and they have an effect, and they're creating that effect, that piezoelectric effect, so you can see the ions and everything. The shape of the pyramid actually takes those particles and focuses them, kind of like a shotgun. If you got all those little particles inside of the it's not a bullet. What's it called again? It's called
a buckshot.
A buckshot. And the shotgun's a whole bunch of little beads, right? And it shoots them through that long shotgun thing so that it's aimed and it's focused. So that's what I think of about that. And that is why we make these into pyramid shapes. This shape actually has
functional.
It's a function. It's a scientific function to help direct the energy. It's not because we're really into the pharaohs of Egypt or anything like that. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what we do with the pyramids, and we have this wonderful deal. Now, you can buy them individually, and you can get one at a time if you want to just have one pyramid. But what we really suggest is getting 4 of them and using them to grid your property. So 4 of these pyramids will grid your entire house or your entire property. So just picture like this column of energy going up on 4 corners around your home or your yard, your backyard. And this is what we use in order to help clear the chemtrails above our house and create this giant shield over our entire property. So we do have this special offer for all 4 pyramids. We've sold a lot of them. A lot of people are really, really enjoying them. And we actually feel really great knowing that we're creating these little holes in the chemtrails all over the planet by getting these out to people. So you can see that link below for the Orgonite pyramids for that special offer. And we also have our newest thing, and this is our sleeping pod. And you can use the charge plate under your pillow, and a lot of people have been doing that, but we wanted to make this new design because it is really, really smooth. And I love the way it feels against my skin. So like sometimes I'll just lay in bed before going to sleep and I'll hold it against me. It's really smooth and really nice. And I can feel that calming wave of energy coming over me. And seriously, I'm out like a light and I sleep like a baby because of the sleeping pod. So this has really been a wonderful thing. And it comes in this gorgeous blue color. So there you have it. I guess we'll end it there. We're starting to lose our light a little bit.
Just a little bit.
All right, because it's getting dark. So we started around sunset here in Morocco. And for now, be sure to take advantage of those offers. If you have any questions, please put them into the comment section or the chat box right now. And Tavon and I
Yep.
are actually manning those boxes so that we can answer your questions right away. And because we're happy to do that. And we hope that you can enjoy the benefits of Orgone technology. Try to make it for yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's it. So with that, we'll say goodbye for now.
Goodbye, everyone.
And thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you. Goodbye.